Did I hear you correctly that you moved to Orlando to be near Disney World?
Yes, that was my dream when I started my business in 2007, was to create a business where my husband, who's also an accountant, could quit his 9-to-5 job.
Hello, Blake Oliver here, and this is Gearing Up, a series by Relay. Relay is business banking designed for accountants and their clients. Just like me, they're obsessed with making firms more effective and efficient. So in each episode, I talk to real accountants and bookkeepers about one challenge they faced in their firm and how to solve it. Today, we have Cindy Schroeder of Bright Bookkeeping and founder of Bookkeeping Buds on the show. Thanks for joining, Cindy.
Thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Tell us a bit about yourself and your firm.
So my name's Cindy Schroeder. My company I have two companies, Bright Bookkeeping, where we help small businesses, primarily residential painters across the country with QuickBooks Online. And then I also run a bookkeeping community called Bookkeeping Buds.
So what's your tech stack look like?
So we have two different tech stacks. We have one tech stack that we use primarily with our clients, and then we have another one for our business. So I'll tell you about both of them. So our business is, it's me and my husband out of Orlando, Florida. We moved here from Chicago because I wanted to live right next to Disney World. Thanks to being a remote bookkeeper, I was able to do that. Our main client base is all as residential painters, although we do help other service businesses as well. And we have about 30 to 40 clients that we help annually. So our app stack for our clients is fairly simple. We are primarily QuickBooks Online. We use a combination of HubDoc, Bill.com, and then ShareFile to help the clients. And then for our personal business tech stack, we use Acuity, which we'll talk a little bit more about. We use 17 Hats for quotes. We use Active Collab for our project management. We use send out cards for marketing. And then we use kind of a combination of Google Suite and Office 365 for everything else.
Did I hear you correctly that you moved to Orlando to be near Disney World?
Yes, that was my dream when I started my business in 2007, was to create a business where my husband, who's also an accountant, could quit his 9-to-5 job, come on board to our business, and we could move to Walt Disney World.
Well, that's great. So you've been able to work completely remote. You've built this practice that allows you to live the lifestyle you want to live, but it can't all be, what would I say, Mickey Mouse ears. There's got to be and fireworks. There's got to be some challenges too.
When I first started out, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was, taking every call from every client and, trying to get business. And so it just led me to just talking to a lot of people that I didn't necessarily need to be talking to, that didn't result in any income, consulting calls or introduction calls that turned into consulting calls for no pay. So I was getting very frustrated and running out of time of doing the actual work because I'm spending all this extra time talking to clients or potential clients I didn't need. So I needed to come up with some way to reduce that stress and anxiety of talking to all these people that weren't my ideal client.
So it's a good problem to have, right? It's better than not having the phone ring, but the phone is ringing too much. And Now you don't have time to serve the clients. How do you reduce that volume of calls while still getting the right clients on board?
Right. So, yeah. And especially where I was a one-woman show, so I didn't have anybody to be the gatekeeper of the calls and all that. So I had to figure out how to do it all on my own.
So what do you do?
And so what I did was I created a system where I wanted to put up kind of barriers or tests for clients to jump through to make sure that they're going to be a good fit for us. So the first thing I did was started using a program called Acuity, and it's similar to, I think there's Calendly. There's some other calendar programs like that as well, where you can ask specific questions to the potential lead before you take them on as a client. So when I get an email from a client, I say the first thing, great to meet you, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to have a 15-minute introduction call with you. Here's a link to my calendar. So it's kind of that first test that they have to know how to click a link and then pick a time and pick a date. And if they can't even do that, that kind of eliminated a lot of people right there, just because they weren't really serious about wanting a bookkeeper. They just wanted to, reach out. So that's the first barrier. So that got rid of a bunch of calls that I didn't need to take. And then on the Acuity site, I ask questions like, what type of software are you using? Because we're QuickBooks Online primarily. We didn't want people that used other programs. Did you want somebody on site? What industry you're in? Because we have specific industries that I call my anti-niche. So I don't help lawyers and I don't help POS. I don't help restaurants. So wanted to make sure that I didn't have to talk to those people. And then I just have a very open-ended question of what help is needed. And so for that question, a lot of times they'll put exactly what they're contacting you for. So you can look at this pretty quickly, this form, and decide, like, is it going to be worth having an introductory call with them or not? If they're using a different software or an industry that I don't handle, I just send them an email and say, sorry, it's not going to be a good fit for me. And I either send them to like the Pro Advisor site or send them to somebody else in our Bookkeeping Buds community that does help that type of client.
That's great. So, and it's simple, right? You just get an email once they've booked the appointment and it has the answers to the questions. Mm-hmm. And then if it's not a good fit, you just reply and cancel it. Is that?
Yes.
Or make
and
a
if
referral?
It is a good fit, then they have already scheduled a 15-minute introductory call. So then I feel comfortable talking to them. And it puts that parameters around there that the call is 15 minutes. So if they do start to kind of start asking consulting type questions, you have a way out to say, oh, this is only a 15-minute call. I have another call, even if you didn't. I have another call I need to get on, and continue like that.
So when you think back to before you had this in place and now after having this in place, how many calls do you think it filters out that weren't productive?
Oh, tons. I would say, yeah, probably more than half. So
wow.
Now I'm pretty particular on who I talk to, just because I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to. But I think that it's something that I like to teach the buds about, is that even if you are just starting out, it's your business. You get to decide who you work with. And so you kind of have to change your mindset from being an employee to being an owner, and you get to make the rules.
If the client can't use a calendar booking link, they're probably not going to be a good fit for you as a tech savvy bookkeeper, right?
Right. Yeah. Because if they can't pick a calendar link, then, how are they going to use HubDoc or be able to, manage Bill.com? Yep.
That's great. Thanks. This is like super actionable, super helpful. If folks want to get in touch with you online, learn about your community, where should they go? And tell us a bit about the community.
Yes, absolutely. So my community is called Bookkeeping Buds. So it's made up of bookkeeper owners. We connect we have a private Slack channel because a lot of our buds aren't on social media. And when they ask questions about clients or, things like that, you might not want to post those on social media. So it's a really safe environment to ask your questions and basically have a whole team of mentors to help with the answers. So we have a private Slack channel, we have member calls. We had a in-person retreat that we have every year, which Cloud Podcast is a sponsor of, and Relay, we got to meet Relay last year.
Everyone take a look at Bookkeeping Buds if you need a bookkeeping community. And Cindy, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.